What did you do when the people in charge wouldn't protect you? When I was 16, a boy at my school ruined my life at a house party. He cornered me in a bedroom, and the girl I was before was gone in 10 horrifying, violent minutes. I didn't tell anyone right away because I felt disgusting. But when I finally broke down and told my mom, she marched me to the police station and then to the principal's office. An investigation started, and at the end of it, the boy was suspended for 2 weeks. That was it. I came back to school feeling like I had a target on my back. People whispered when I walked by, a few called me a liar to my face, but most just acted like I was invisible. I had a counselor, and I was doing the work and really trying to get better, but then gym class happened. Our regular PE teacher left on maternity leave, and Coach Harmon took over. He used to be my lacrosse coach before they quietly took him off all the girls' teams, so that should tell you something right there. On the first day, he assigned us sparring partners for a martial arts unit. My partner was the boy who had assaulted me. I froze, just like I had that night, but I worked up the courage to go up to Coach Harmon and tell him I couldn't work with that student. He just said, "You'll do as you're told. This isn't one of your safe spaces." I thought maybe it was a mistake and he didn't know what had happened to me. So after class, I went to him and told him as quietly and respectfully as I could what had happened to me at the party, and that pairing us together was not just inappropriate but dangerous. He folded his arms and said, "If you're old enough to go to parties, you're old enough to face the consequences. I've had it up to here with you girls crying RP every time a boy looks at you wrong." Then he gave me detention for insubordination. I couldn't believe that I told him about my bruises and my ripped clothes and the weeks of waiting for the results of a pregnancy test, and that was what he had to say. I knew I needed to think bigger and that the administration was not going to listen to me after giving my attacker nothing but a slap on the wrist. So instead I told the vice principal I wanted to start a self-defense club for girls, just a few sessions after school. She barely glanced up from her desk before saying, "Fine, but you need a staff sponsor." That was kind of the whole point. I paid one of the guys on the soccer team $20 to stroke Coach Harmon's ego by telling him he'd be the perfect staff sponsor for the team. By third period, he was in. I reserved the gym, set up the mats, and welcomed half the girls from my grade who I'd promised would see a show if they just gave me half an hour of their time. Harmon walked in like he expected applause for being the hero to all women or whatever. I asked him to show us how to safely defend ourselves from someone who corners us or grabs us without consent. He gave a forced laugh and said, "Or you could stop assuming every boy who sees you wants to sleep with you." Even I was shocked he went from 0 to 100 that quickly, and I could tell the girls around me were too. I looked him in the eye and said, "Please demonstrate." When he didn't move, I said, "Coach, you assigned a known predator to multiple girls in your class. Surely you can show us how to protect ourselves from that kind of threat." He stepped back and muttered that the session was getting inappropriate, but it was too late. Every girl in that gym had seen him for who he was. The next week, none of us showed up for gym. We submitted group letters to the administration and boycotted all our classes until action was taken. All the girls who had doubted my story before apologized now. It turned out a lot of them had been bullied by Harmon too. They'd just seen how ostracized I got when I spoke up and didn't want the same thing to happen to them. The school launched an investigation, and Harmon lost his teaching license that year, and the school rewrote its trauma protocols. My abuser quietly switched schools before he could be expelled. The school added recovery plans for assault survivors, but I didn't stay there to see it implemented. My mom and I decided I'd suffered enough, so I transferred to a different school that already had language on its website about protecting student mental health and didn't need a 16-year-old girl to figure it out for them. But at least now I know that the next time something happens to a girl at my old school, she won't be ignored, and the other girls will stand by her.